Okay, we're recording now. Thanks,
Okay.
Start.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Here.
Lewis,
Here.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Okay, I guess I better keep us honest. Let's pledge the allegiance. Please rise to pledge your allegiance. I forgot about it. I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Thanks. I forgot. Sometimes it gets out of order working from home on this. So we will move on. I entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So move.
Second the motion.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Okay, we will move to reports. Mayor, what is your report for tonight, or do you have one?
Oh, Mayor, you're muted.
Well, I tell you what.
I had four things going. I'm doing the video, the muting, and the other. So sorry.
Well,
Good evening, everybody. So,
I don't even see your picture anymore, Mayor. What happened? I mean, it's like I have no idea who's doing what with all you guys on blackout. This is not working too well for
I'm
me.
not blacked out on my own.
You really?
Yep.
For some reason, everybody's blacked out on my
Well,
screen.
you may. Everybody else can see me.
Okay.
I got my mask on.
Mm-hmm.
Your internet connection.
Jeremy sees me.
Yeah.
Got a thumbs up.
Eloise, you keep stopping, so I think maybe you have a bad connection. You're frozen.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. No, I did see that it said I had a bad connection, which is funny. I'm sitting right on top of my box in here, so can't imagine why I'm having a bad connection. I'm right in the office with the box.
Maybe you got heavy users in your neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. I was just trying to figure out because I see that's probably why everything's black here. I'm like, so I can't tell who's doing what because I don't see nothing but black screen for everybody.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Well,
now I see you, Mayor. You flicked for a minute. Okay.
I flick back and forth. Okay. I'll go off on the thing here for a second. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. And I'm very proud to announce that we received a recognition from the Ohio Association of Chiefs of Police and the Law Enforcement Foundation for our police department's community policing efforts. Chief Wetzel will be providing more details in his report this evening. So this is a very good recognition for the month of, essentially a month of July. Several organizations and the foundation recognizes the top police forces in the state. Also, I'd like to wish everyone a happy 4th of July, and I would be happy to answer any additional questions as we continue through the meeting.
All right. Thank you. Chief Newman, do you have a report?
Good evening, Council President Henry, Mayor Roche, members of council, and members of community. Just briefly, update on COVID-19 related events. The Division of Fire, along with several other fire departments throughout Cuyahoga County and University Hospital staff, participated in an antigen study where 5,000 healthcare providers had a test performed to determine whether or not they have an antigen to the COVID-19. They selected fire departments and an emergency room staff because they have high exposures. That was done last Monday, and it's really a process in validating the test through surveilling. So far, the results with our firefighters is that none of our firefighters have the COVID-19 antigen. and none of them have COVID-19. Although we all have little bruises on our arms from the blood work, we all seem to be pretty healthy. Now, this is supposedly a very reliable test, and what this is a testament to is the fact that our personal protective equipment is being worn properly, and it's doing the job that's intended with its use. So our firefighters are doing a good job protecting the citizens and protecting themselves during this COVID-19. Where are we at in Cuyahoga County? As of tonight, there are 5,734 cases of COVID-19 in Cuyahoga County. That puts us second in the state. My resources for this is the CDC and the Ohio Department of Health. Cuyahoga County has approximately 12.6% of the state's caseload. That's 464 cases per 100,000 population. And we've had 339 fatalities that are related to COVID-19. In our zip code of 44143, they put us in the 54 to 99 confirmed cases. But I can tell you that our firefighters have responded to 56 suspected cases. And of the transports that we've done, we've had 13 confirmed cases where our firefighters were actually involved. We're good on PPE right now. Everybody's.
I don't hear anything.
You hear me now?
I don't know if it's me.
I've heard everything you said,
or
I think.
what.
I can hear you, Chief.
Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing good with PPE, and we've been able to provide all other divisions within the city with PPE, hand sanitizer, and et cetera, because of a report we received from HHS Cares. So that's really the update at this point in time. We're doing a lot of other things too, but right now COVID-19 seems to be the focus on our daily activities. That concludes my report.
Madam President? Chief,
Yes, sir.
you mentioned a certain number of cases in our county, and relative to the number of cases in the state,
Hello.
does it fall into line with the population of Cuyahoga County in our Northeast Ohio region? In other words, are we on a pro rata basis the same as the rest of the state, or would you say our density is greater?
Well, I don't know if you all can hear me, but I can't hear anybody. Can you all hear me?
I can hear
I
you.
guess not. I'm going to leave and try to come back into this meeting. Oh, Lord. I don't know about this.
So the population density does fall into it. And when the state rolls it up, and the CDC, they roll it up in cases per 100,000. For example, Franklin County has 601 cases per 100,000 population. Cuyahoga County's 464. Lorraine would be 276 cases per 100,000. And then you go down to Sandusky at 188. So there's relevance to the statistics, and then they look at the total state cases and where we fall in that. So in Cuyahoga County, of all cases in the state, 12.6% of them are in Cuyahoga County, which puts us at number 2 in the state, as well as total cases. Franklin is number 1. Hamilton is number 3.
So we're doing better than Franklin. And is Franklin's population, I can't recall, they're a bit small. I think Cuyahoga County is the largest county in the population-wise in the state, or am I wrong on that?
I'd have to check. I don't have that information in front of me. But I know that we have one of the highest population counties in the state, but I'm not
Yes,
sure where.
yeah. Yeah, so it looks like, I mean, so the most populous counties are, of course, having more cases. Is there any attempt to to draw a conclusion that the less sparsely populated counties obviously should have lesser cases, but is there a percentage of infection that much less than ours? In other words, if you're living further apart and you're more rural, it just seems to follow that you should have lesser cases per X number of people.
The information that CDC provides does state that more urbanized, densely populated areas have higher caseloads, as you would expect wherever you have people in close proximity to one another versus rural areas that aren't densely populated. So there's a direct correlation to that. Cuyahoga County, when they do the graphic, you'll have the dark red is the highest caseloads in the area. When you look down at the Cincinnati area, Cuyahoga County area, even Lorain County, they all have the highest caseloads, but they also have the highest population densities as well. So it does have a direct correlation.
And Dan, just to answer your question, I just Googled it. Franklin County has 1.3 million, Cuyahoga County 1.2 million, Hamilton 816,000, Summit 541,000, and then it goes down. Lorraine's at 309,000.
So we're doing much better than Franklin, then I guess is something you can conclude.
Yeah, with a population difference of only 100,000, we would be.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Face masks and a lot of hand sanitizer, frequent washing hands, social distancing as much as possible. It really makes a difference. And the fact that people are wearing their PPE, it is significant that our firefighters, and it's the only group that was available to be tested in the city at this point in time, that they deal with it every day, but none of them had the antigen, which means that they've been protected even though they've had exposures. Their PPE is working well. So we haven't really missed any time. We had to send 2 individuals out after they were symptomatic, but it turned out that it wasn't COVID-19. So we've had probably related to COVID-19 48 hours of overtime, and firefighters work 24-hour shifts. So we've done very well through this with keeping our workforce healthy.
So if one of our guys were to get the virus and have to be out, and we would incur overtime, Todd, do you think that legislation we're going to pass tonight would help to pay for that potentially?
Potentially. The problem with this, and again, I think it's going to take more analysis, but council has budgeted for a certain amount of overtime in fire, police, and other places, and if you exceed that budget because of COVID-19, certainly it's reimbursable. Otherwise, it may not be.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Chief. Thanks, Todd.
All right, so I had a computer problem here. All my screen was black. I changed my computers. Now I can see everybody. I thought everybody just blacked their screens out. But evidently I had technology problems for about an hour throughout this meeting. I didn't know it. So anyway, I switched computers. I'm back alive. So, but Chief, you had a nice long report that enabled me to be gone missing and nobody noticed. So we'll go on with Chief Wessel report.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, Council President Henry, Mayor Roach, members of council, and our public. I just wanted to kind of reiterate a little bit of what our mayor touched on. But this was really exciting today. I got this news and I was absolutely thrilled. The Richmond Heights Division of Police, I'm going to read from the press release that they have put together for this. The Richmond Heights Division of Police was recently named the July 2020 Agency of the Month for their outstanding community policing efforts. In 2019, the Ohio Associations of Chiefs of Police and Law Enforcement Foundation began a new program named Sharing Ohio's Best to help bring awareness to the amazing work that agencies do all over Ohio to promote positive policing. And then there's another line that was important because this is long, but they said typically the committee focuses on creativity and how the program impacts the individual community. And then they had another line that it kind of touches on a few things. The Community Relations and Engagement Committee issued this statement. It is our pleasure to recognize the outstanding efforts by the Richmond Heights Division of Police for their community policing commitment that helps make us stronger. And what they recognized was our youth outreach effort, in particular, our 4 programs that are very original and unique. One is Cop Scouts, the Teen Ambassador Club with the schools, Tip Our Badge for Academic Excellence Award, and our school art competition. And with my report tonight, I just wanted to thank all of our officers and personnel who have embraced our community policing culture and are the reason our agency was recognized. They value the symbiotic relationship we share with our community and know that the server must work with the served to truly make a neighborhood a safe place to live and thrive. One of our officers coined a tagline, "Community is what we do." And I believe he really did, a mindset that is woven into the very fabric of our agency. Also, a special thank you to our mayor and safety director who has supported all of these efforts and even participated in some of them, such as Cop Scouts and our school art program. He's always very patient and has yet to say to me when I come in there, "Now what?" When I try to propose another idea to him. It's been always good. And I also want to express my gratitude to all of you, our city council, as well, as you have been endorsed and supported our work and continue to give us the resources we need to serve our special community. Also, in our continuing effort to serve our community with sensitivity and understanding, we will be conducting a dual training with the Highland Heights Police Department and will cover constitutional use of force, de-escalation, special populations, people in crisis, and bias-based policing. And I'll be working with Chief Jim Cook as we put this together and hopefully have it soon. Also, our city prosecutor, Mike Cicero, is putting together a training video for our agency that I requested of him today that will cover a legal update and civil rights. Mike has been an outstanding prosecutor for us and will also be one of our chefs, and I use that term generously, for our hot dog roast for our residents who reside at Loganberry and Dorchester. That's on July 8th. And then just in closing, I thought you'd enjoy hearing this. Today, our canine Bolt made his first discovery of illegal drugs. This was during a mutual aid sniff for a neighboring department or city. He helped in the initial discovery of meth drugs, and then they conducted a further search, which resulted in the discovery of about 470 grams of a white powder they believe is cocaine. Got to send it out for testing, but there's a good high probability that's the case. And that's a lot of cocaine. That's almost half a kilo.
Wow.
So anyway, just in closing, I'd like, I hope he finds something in our city soon, but he's on his way. People are asking for their help when they're working of other cities. The word's getting out that we have this dog. And then he's doing his own work as well, so I just thought you'd enjoy hearing that because, again, you were tremendous in supporting us to have that dog. And really just in about a year's time, we're already getting a result. So thank you. And that concludes my report.
Madam President,
Yes.
Councilman Lentine,
Yes.
Chief, I know you're most proud of your department. This award and this recognition has got to make you proud and the fellows and ladies that work in the police department. But more importantly, it shows the city of Richmond Heights at this particular time in our lives and in this world of trying times that we hear so often on the news, what timing this is. This underlines that award 2-3 times. I am so proud of you, the department, and the city of Richmond Heights. Keep up the good work. We're proud of you.
Thank you, Councilman Lentine. It was definitely special. It's from day one coming here. We've made this really, our signature of really just connecting. And like I've said before, we're like community policing on steroids. I mean, we really are taking it to the next level. And so this was absolutely tremendous. And I love the timing because I really I knew we were in the running for this. And then when I got the notice today, I was just thrilled that I could share it with you tonight.
Yes, Madam President, I'd just like to kind of echo what Frank said. I think the accomplishment is very timely, and Chief, you mentioned all the people that were involved and so on and so forth, but at the end of the day, you are the driving force behind all these great things happening, and I myself, and I believe all of council, is appreciative of the work you do day in and day out, and congratulate you on the award.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. All right. Does that conclude your report, Chief? I guess so.
Yeah, it does. I'm sorry, Councilwoman.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Building Commissioner Jim Uranker.
Thank you, Madam President, Mayor Roach, members of council and the community. I've got a couple things. The hand sanitizer letter did go out today, and they should be received by all businesses within the next couple of days. As far as our architectural review board meetings, we have Loganberry Ridge, who has made an application for ARB review on several projects that they have going. That'll be on a different day, not on a Monday, but it'll be on Tuesday, July 7th, 2020. Also, FlexJet, the operations center, they're moving forward with that. And we have an ARB meeting scheduled for review on July 20th. And that would be on a Monday. As far as Richmond Town Square Mall, I have a bit of an update for this building. I don't foresee this building opening until sometime after July 4th. I was there today, and we found that there was literally horrendous leaks in the Key Bank building, a waterfall of water coming in. It was kind of unbelievable. Moving on to our Hilltop Plaza building, maybe some of you may or may not have known, but the water main broke yesterday. So there's no water to any of those businesses currently. The entire east side of the plaza, it's not excluding Dave's Supermarket. Dave's Supermarket's running on a different main, but they're working on it currently, and I think it should be up and running sometime tomorrow or perhaps Thursday at the latest. And that concludes my report, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Wow, that's interesting.
Madam President?
Yes.
Jim, regarding your comment about FlexJet, when you've been in communication with them, it just seems to me like when I pass the airport, there's less of a aggregation of jets on the tarmac, which means to me that their business is starting to come back and move forward again. Is that the sense you get from talking or observing?
Observing, yes, I've noticed the same. There's definitely less planes on the tarmac than there were 2 weeks ago. I'm talking to Jeff Walters from Panzeca Construction, so he's not anybody within the management of FlexJet. He's the construction manager, but he is moving aggressively. We already have kind of tentatively scheduled planning commission meetings and planning and zoning committee of council meetings. So we're really looking at the schedule. They want to get it moving along as quickly as possible.
That's great news.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Great. Thank
And that
you.
concludes my report, which I think I've said already.
Thank you, Jim. Finance Director Jim Technic.
Thank you, Council President Henry. I have a brief report this evening. Some of the two items that we spoke about in the caucus, the tax budget and the coronavirus CARES Act bill, I would ask that council consider approving those this evening. The one was 61-2020 resolution number, and that was for the Coronavirus Relief Distribution Fund from Cuyahoga County. And the Cuyahoga County Budget Commission is asking us to immediately pass that so they can begin distributing eligible funds to the city of Richmond Heights for that. So I would ask again, council consider approving that tonight. And secondly, the resolution for the 2021 tax budget, which is resolution 66-2020, is needed to be, and it's an annual housekeeping item that is requested by the Cuyahoga County Fiscal Officer. And again, this is due either this evening or the next council meeting. And that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you very much. Recreation Director Rick Dula.
Thank you, Council President Henry, Mayor Roach, members of council and the community. Just 4 items tonight to cover briefly. First, I'd like to announce that Anthony Gemelli has returned to the office. He's been home, with taking care of his elderly mother the last few months, and he's able to rejoin us back in the office. So it's nice having the band back together again, so to speak. So he and I and Rhonda have gotten together a few times already, and it's just nice to have the full team together. I also wanted to note that we do have credit card capabilities in the recreation department now. You can come and pay for items either in person in our office, or you can do it over the phone. I want to thank Jim Technip and the mayor and anybody else who was involved in pushing that forward. It was long overdue, and I think it's going to be a positive asset to the city of Richmond Heights and our residents when they want to pay for rentals and programs and services. And that would be for Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and as well American Express. Third item is just let you know that we're staying current with the Restart Ohio guidelines that impact the recreation department, and we're looking at currently now what to do with the August pavilion rentals and the lodge rentals. So we should have a decision within the next day or two, working with the mayor and the staff. And lastly, I would just like to thank you in advance, hopefully for a yes vote on resolution 62-2020 tonight. We can move forward if we receive that positive passage and get the playground project moving forward and get it put into the ground, and hopefully sometime in 2020 we'll be able to have our residents climbing all over it and having some fun. So that concludes my report. I'd be happy to entertain any questions you may have for me.
Madam President, Councilman Lentine.
Yes.
Chris, a question or two, Rick. Probably you and Brian both could comment on this. Not only about the lodge, or I'm sorry, the playground that you just mentioned. When do you anticipate that to actually start the actual construction? And the second question would be the lodge. I know we're doing some renovation there with bathrooms and also the side patio or decking, whatever you like to call it, and some lighting. When do you anticipate those 2 projects getting underway?
I can take
Rick or
part of the first
answer that if you would.
question. As far as, if we receive passage tonight on resolution 62-2020, then the next step is to submit the application and that positive vote to the director down in Columbus for ODNR, who's handling the grants. And then they have to do their little bit of paperwork down there, give us our okays and such, and then we contact the vendor and move forward. So I think if I remember at the presentation at the Service and Rec Committee meeting last week, Rachel Gardner indicated that it would probably be, and Brian helped me out, I think it should be from once we get going, 2 to 3 months max before it would be ready to be open to the public,
And we would expect that the playground, assuming the state does what it needs to do in a timely fashion, playground could be completed by at the outside by the end of August. As to the Kiwanis Lodge improvements, I was going to report on that in my report. We'll be bringing drawings of the suggested and proposed improvements, both the interior as well as the outdoor space, to the Service and Recreation Committee, their next meeting on July 7th. And then after that, we'll get your reaction and input. Then we would take it to ARB, and then we would go out to bid for the project. So you'll be seeing the drawings at the Service and Rec Committee on July 7th. And then if we can continue on with the process, we would estimate that around September or so, we could actually begin construction, assuming the bids come in properly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So we were on Rick Doula's, right? Report.
Correct, Madam President.
But didn't I just hear Brian Glazer talking?
Yes, he was helping answer a question from Councilman Lentine. So he hasn't started his official report yet. So again, that concludes my report. I'll be happy to entertain any more questions, Madam President.
Okay, this working at home gets a little hard for me sometimes. So.
Oh, I know. Everybody's spread out a little bit.
I was just thinking, I think I went there, but thank you for answering your question. But I'm not trying to rush your report. If you're done, then I will move on.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes?
then you fell into a time warp of some kind.
That's how I feel. That's exactly. Plus, I've heard Brian's voice a lot today, so I'm thinking, am I hearing Brian again? So now, Brian, I'm going to hear you for a third time today.
Once more. Thank you, Council President Henry, Mayor Roach, members of council, and members of the community. I would just ask your consideration in supporting Resolution 59-2020, which would be accepting the NOPEC grant, which would allow, if we elect to spend it, it would be a total of $8,786. And then also asking for your support, as Rick Doula just mentioned, for 62-2020 to allow us to move forward with the playground. And then also 63-2020, which would allow the city to apply for the community planning grant from the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission to develop a connectivity plan as recommended in the master plan. And then I was also going to report on bringing the Kiwanis Lodge drawings to Service and Rec, but I already covered that. So that it concludes my report.
Thank you. Then just as a reminder for some people, some of the newer council people, we do not have a meeting next Tuesday. It's the 5th Tuesday of the month. So just in case somebody didn't know that, just letting you all know why it's on my mind. Otherwise, it might go somewhere else. We'll move on to City Engineer Lee Courtney.
Just road program information, Madam Chairman. We've already been through this year's program and the bids that were accepted, which are up for vote tonight. Very excellent results. It's been a tough world for contractors as well as everybody else. And under last year's road program, we will be doing some striping on Chardon Road as soon as the contractor figures out how to dance through the raindrops.
Good luck there. Any questions for Lee? All right. Thank you. Service Director Don Kerniski.
Thank you, Council President. I have no report for tonight. I'm kind of laid back.
Don't say that too loud. Tomorrow might be something new for you.
Every day's different, that's for sure.
I bet.
The council
Thank
meeting.
you.
So they got to go through the agenda yet.
So the clerk, do we have any letters or anything sent in from the audience?
No, I did not receive anything this week.
All right, thank you. Then we'll move on to old business.
Okay, under old business, we have Resolution 53, 2020, introduced by Mayor, third reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute on behalf of the city the renewal of a partnership agreement to a memorandum of understanding as a member of the Euclid Creek Watershed Council with the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District.
Mayor?
A motion for,
Yep, sorry, Frank and I are on the same time. I would recommend passes this evening. Thank you. This is on the third reading, so we don't need any exception of the rules. Thanks.
move for passage.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes,
Lewis?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Ursu?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, resolution 53-2020 passes unanimously.
Okay, under new business, we have resolution 59-2020 introduced by Mayor Roach, first reading. A resolution authorizing the actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, 2020 Energize Community Grant Funds.
Mayor, do you have any comments?
Yes, I recommend passage this evening. I know we have a couple of projects that we can use this money for. I believe we're going to try to allocate some of the monies to the matching funds that we're using for the lodge.
Yes. Okay.
motion to suspend the rules.
Second the motion.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes,
Lewis?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Ursu?
Yes.
Move for passage.
second the motion.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes,
Lewis?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Ursu?
Yes.
Resolution 59-2020 passes unanimously.
Resolution 60-2020 introduced by Mayor Roach, first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a renewal agreement with Johnson Controls for the maintenance of various security systems for the Division of Police.
I think we had a good discussion on that in the meeting of the whole. I would recommend passage this evening of this. The Johnson Controls has done a good job over the years. Our equipment is at about a 20-year mark, same as the building, and we are going to seriously consider some alternatives to the internal equipment that we still have existing for this next year. So, but I would recommend entering into this contract. What we've done in the past somewhat is also the way it works out is if you have one maintenance call, it can exceed this maintenance contract value actually. So it's good to have the contract in place.
Move for suspension.
second the motion.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes,
Lewis?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Ursu?
Yes.
move for passage.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes,
Lewis?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Ursu?
Yes.
Resolution 60-2020 passes unanimously.
Okay, resolution 61-2020 introduced by mayor and council, first reading. A resolution authorizing the finance director to prepare and submit an application for funds for the city of Richmond Heights from Cuyahoga County under the Federal Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act and Ohio AM sub House Bill 481, affirming that such funds shall be used only to cover costs incurred by the city consistent with the requirements of applicable law and declaring an emergency.
Yes, Madam President, I can comment since it was in my committee. First came to my attention, as I mentioned in caucus, from Kim, and then at around the same time, our finance director, Jim Technip, brought it to my attention. And so Todd did his usual good work in making sure all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed. And I believe it's in the best interest of the city to move forward with this tonight and recommend its passage.
Second.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentini,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes. Madam Clerk,
Yes?
was that something in the audio? Did you say Mr. Lentini?
Oh,
It sounded like it was. I think it was the Zoom did that.
oh, yeah, it must.
I needed to look around. I thought my grandfather was here. Which would have been really scary because he's been gone for some time.
Was that for suspension or passage?
That was for suspension.
All right.
Move for passage.
I'll second it.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution 61-2020 passes unanimously.
Resolution 62, 2020, introduced by Lewis, first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Play and Park Structures for the replacement of the obsolete playground with a new ADA-compliant expand playground for children at the community park.
Lewis. Any comments, Lewis, or you want to defer this to someone else?
Move for suspension.
Second.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Resolution 62-2020 passes unanimously.
Resolution 63, 2020, introduced by Mayor Roach, first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to apply to the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission for a community planning grant for fiscal year 2020 to develop a detailed connectivity plan for walking, biking, and multi-purpose trails and declaring an emergency.
Mayor?
This is a request for the grant that follow on from what we essentially applied for last year for our community to have developed a connectivity plan as according to our master plan. I'd recommend passage this evening.
Okay.
Motion to suspend the rule.
Second.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Resolution 63-2020 passes unanimously.
Okay, resolution 64, 2020, introduced by Henry, Lewis, Nelson, Thomas, and Ursu, first reading. A resolution declaring racism a public health crisis.
In this, we're calling upon the President of the United States, other federal government and state government employees, and elected officials to, well, should I mean employees, but elected officials, to join in this council's declaration and to establish equity in all federal, state, and local laws and policies. I entertain a motion.
Motion for
Move for suspension.
second.
Alexander,
No.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
We don't hear you, Ursu.
Dan, you're muted.
Dan,
You're still muted, Dan.
Again,
Okay, now.
I said yes.
All right, thank you.
Then I make a motion for passage.
Thank you.
second.
Alexander,
No.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Resolution 64, 2020 passed as 6-1.
Resolution 65, 2020, introduced by Lewis, first reading. A resolution accepting a bid for the various sections of the bid specifications for repairs and resurfacing of various city streets for the 2020 road program and authorizing a contract therefore.
This is a resolution to accept bids for various repair and resurfacing streets, our city streets. Move for, recommend for passage.
I think this would be suspension, right?
Yeah.
Suspension, yes.
Yes. Do I get a second on that?
Okay. Alexander, I think that was Lentine who seconded.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
Alexander, Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second the motion.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Resolution 65, 2020 passes unanimously.
Okay, Resolution 66, 2020, introduced by Ursu, first reading. A resolution adopting the alternative tax budget information of the City of Richmond Heights, Ohio for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2021, submitting the same to the Budget Commission of Cuyahoga County and declaring an emergency.
Yes, Madam President, we discussed this in Finance Committee also in caucus. Our Finance Director, Jim Technic, has been working on this, which is essentially a piece of housekeeping legislation. This year, though, a little bit more challenging. I can just detect that just from the way we've talked about it, in the sense that we are in the middle of a dynamic time. And but I believe that Jim has made the correct assumptions and has followed best practices in preparing the legislation. I recommend its passage
Thank you.
and suspension of the rules.
Thank you.
Second.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes. Move for
Motion
passage.
recommend for passage.
Second.
Alexander,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Lentine,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Yes.
Ursu.
Yes.
Resolution 66, 2020 passes unanimously. Are there any additions or correspondence? Okay. So, I don't know about you guys, but I want to adjourn. So, meeting adjourned. Thank you all. Have a good night and a good week.
Thank you. Good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night. All right, thanks.
I went by there.
Get off of this thing.
Good night, John Boy.